Okay, let's unpack this. We're taking a deep dive today into a connection you might not immediately see. College math, specifically differentiation, and something really tangible, food prices and, food security.
That's right. We've been looking through some sources specifically focusing on concepts like food price sensitivity and differentiation, and how that plays into the sensitivity of food prices to supply changes.
Yeah, it's all under this umbrella of differentiation in food security.
Exactly.
And our goal here really is to kind of bridge that gap, to show you how this math concept, differentiation, may be something you're wrestling with in class right now, how it actually helps us understand why food prices jump around when supply changes.
It's pretty fascinating, isn't it, how calculus, which often feels quite, well, academic, gives us a language to talk about these really critical economic things.
Right.
I mean, think about it. Differentiation is fundamentally about measuring change, the rate of change. How quickly is one thing changing compared to another?
Exactly. You learned about finding the derivative, that slope, that instantaneous rate of change. And the sources point out that this concept is precisely what we need to measure the sensitivity of food prices when supply shifts.
Yes, it's not just a handy analogy. The actual mathematical derivative is that measure of sensitivity.
Okay, so how does that work, practically speaking?
Well, sensitivity here just means how much we expect the price of food to change if the supply changes by, a small amount.
Uh-huh.
So if you think of price, P, as depending on supply, S like P is a function of S, PS, then the derivative, dPdS, at any particular supply level, well, that tells you the slope of the price supply curve right there.
Oh, okay. So it's the steepness of that curve that's
Yeah.
important. If it's really steep, what does that tell us about sensitivity?
Exactly right. A steep slope, meaning that derivative, dPdS, has a large value. Technically, the absolute value indicates high sensitivity.
Right.
It means even maybe a relatively small change in supply can cause a much bigger, sort of disproportionate change in the price.
Wow. Okay. That makes it really concrete. So if the supply of, say, avocados drops just a little,
Mhm.
but that DPDS value is high.
Then you could see a really significant price hike at the store. Yep.
Okay.
And conversely, if the slope is shallow, the derivative value is smaller. That means lower sensitivity, prices are more stable, they don't react as dramatically to those little supply wobbles.
And this must feed directly into the whole food security
Yes.
issue, right? Because it's not just about having food, it's about people being able to actually buy it.
Absolutely. If staple foods have very high price sensitivity, if that DPDS is large, then even minor supply disruptions, like, I don't know, bad weather somewhere, a transport hiccup,
Uh-huh.
those can trigger really sharp price spikes. And that price volatility makes food less affordable, less accessible, especially for people already struggling. That's a direct hit to food security.
So differentiation isn't just about, finding limits or solving equations on an exam paper.
Not at all.
It's a real tool.
Hmm.
Economists, analysts, they use it to quantify how bad a supply shock might be, to model how the market might react.
Precisely. It helps understand why your grocery costs might suddenly change. It helps sort of predict that vulnerability in the system.
It really bridges the gap then between the sort of abstract math and the economic reality we all
It
experience.
does. Calculating that rate of change, that sensitivity, gives real insight into how stable or maybe how fragile our food system is.
That really is one of those powerful aha moments, isn't it? Seeing a math concept applied to something so basic, so fundamental.
Yeah, using that mathematical lens helps untangle these complex real-world problems.
It really underlines the value of these quantitative tools for tackling big societal issues, like making sure food is affordable and accessible for everyone.
Definitely.
Okay, so wrapping this up, if differentiation helps us understand how much food prices react to supply changes, basically measuring sensitivity through that rate of change, it makes you wonder, where else could this idea apply?
Good question.
I mean, think about your daily life. Could looking at the rate of change give you new insights? Maybe how fast energy costs react to global events? Or the rate traffic jams build up during rush hour?
Or even how quickly trends catch on online.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What other parts of your world could you understand better just by thinking about their rate of change? Something to chew on.